Welcome to the Femalepreneur Coach podcast. I am your host, Rebecca Barr. I am a transformational mindset and business coach and six-figure award-winning female entrepreneur. Ladies, I'm here to tell you that business and making money doesn't have to be hard when you're in alignment and flow. Inside this podcast, I will be showing you how to transform your mindset to program it for success, how to maximize your money vibrations, and how to redesign your business for ultimate financial and time freedom. You know you are meant to live an epic life. Now it's time to claim it. Hi ladies, welcome to another episode of the Femalepreneur Coach podcast. Super excited to have you here. So today's episode is a little bit different. I'm looking at ways to leverage my content and still add ultimate value for you guys, my listeners. So I have actually recorded a module from my Business Building Bootcamp self-study, and I wanted to share that with you here so that you could also get value from that module. If you are interested in purchasing the whole course, obviously the links and stuff will be in the show notes, but even if you just listen to this one episode, you're going to get so much value from it. I think my mission right now as a coach, particularly as we enter the beginning of 2023, is to really support more women to build businesses that are in alignment with them so that they can be sustainable and not a statistic. So I hope that you enjoy this episode. Let me know your key takeaways below and make sure that you subscribe. You can also head over to YouTube and watch if you would prefer. Hi ladies, welcome back to another module of the Business Building Bootcamp. I'm so excited to have you here. So in this module, I'm going to be sharing with you all of the different ways that you can serve your clients. So you may have heard some of these terms, some may be relatively new to you, but what I want to share with you really and kind of plant the seed is that if you are a service-based entrepreneur, i.e., a coach or a therapist or a yoga teacher or a sports therapist, any kind of service-based, or either a VA, OBM, like all of the things. There are so many different ways that you can serve your clients. You don't have to do it in the way that you feel automatically first springs to mind. It has to be ways that feel really good to you and feel really aligned to your zone of genius. And I want to plant the seed as to how much variety there is in the way that you can really serve your clients. So when determining your business model, the key things that you need to think about are: what is the best fit container and the best way that I can give my clients transformation and actually give them that desired outcome? And then also, what feels the best, most aligned container to me and my energy, my skill set, and my zone of genius. This is how you create a business that is truly sustainable. When we try and do all the things and we are trying to build our business model in line with what everybody else appears to be doing online, what everybody else seems to be telling us is the best way to do it, but it's not aligned to us and our natural strengths and our zone of genius and our energy types and how we like to work as a person. So I also like to take this one step further with human design. That's when it becomes unsustainable. You just can't keep being on all the time if you are the kind of person that is high energy but needs to retreat afterwards. So I'm a manifesting generator. I also have like ADHD markers. So for me, I am a high energy, high impact, quick results person. For me, long-term containers with rinse and repeat programs do not work for my energy. That doesn't light me up. It doesn't keep me excited. It doesn't keep me engaged. I am all about new energy, new containers, new programs, but equally depth and being able to support my clients in a really meaningful, high touch, intimate way. So high level group programs, again, don't work for me and my personality type. I have my signature group programs, but I tend to run those as self-led programs, and I will maybe do them live once a year, which is my Millionaire Mindset Bootcamp. That's it. But equally, that program in itself continues to evolve because I'm always updating the content. I'm always recording new modules as I reach new level of income. That will always be my signature baby program because I'm a money mindset coach at heart. That has a direct line to my mission, which is to financially empower more women and to encouraging more women and supporting them to step into that financial and empowerment, and not even just financial independence. It's about that next level rich lady wealth vibes. Like, that's my ultimate mission. So obviously my Millionaire Mindset Bootcamp is a direct line to that. So I wanted to share with you the four main ways that if you are a service-based entrepreneur, that you can serve your clients essentially, which is one-to-one, where you're working with one person specifically in a really intimate container. And I'll go through a few of the options as to what that might look like for you. There's one-to-many, which is where you are essentially really getting into the opportunity of leveraging your time. This is maybe something that usually comes after you've done an element of one-to-one work, because you can really have a clear understanding at that point as to what you are doing that is getting results. You can pull out the common threads and create programs that will address those needs, those similar problems and needs for your clients, to one-to-many at a time, essentially. And that's how you leverage your time. There is the self-led programs, which I know a lot of my clients have implemented as semi-passive income, because it allows them to increase their visibility and their impact without taking any more of their personal time. It's a really great use of energy, because once you've created something once, it will continue to generate an income. And then lastly is the hybrid model, which is where you maybe take elements of all of the above, which is something that I do. So obviously I'm the queen of leverage and time, but equally, as I said, and my business has gone through different phases. So that's also what I want to encourage you to think about, is that with every new year, every new level up, every new investment into yourself. So every time I have spent time mastering my crafts and I've finished a new certification, or I've started working with a new coach, or I've had a breakthrough, or some really incredible client results, I've always taken that as an opportunity to really look at all of the elements of my business and think, what still feels good to me? Or is there an opportunity here to create some changes, to create some new programs, to up level my prices, to meet my ideal client at a different point in their journey? Is there an opportunity for a self-study here? You know, I always repurpose a lot of the content that I create, either into blog posts, YouTube videos, podcast episodes, give it free content inside my free community, add it to my social pages, you know, or create it, build it into a funnel, or add it as a free resource into one of my programs. Like, we should always be having that element of strategic overview in our business. So we're not just haphazardly doing things unintentionally. We should always be looking at, how can I leverage this and get more bang for my buck? How do I serve more clients? How do I get more eyes on this? How do I do more things with what I've done? And I truly believe that's how I've managed to have the impact that I have with the time restraints that I have. You know, not even time restraints, because I don't want to be working 24/7, but I am a person that could work 24/7 and actually be quite happy with that. I love the business of business. I'm definitely a high achiever. I absolutely was in corporate. I love the intricacies of business. I love all the back end stuff. I love the front end stuff. I'm a Gemini. I can do a bit of everything. But equally, I have 5 children. You know, I can't be working all the time. And really, if I wanted to do that, I probably should have just stayed in corporate. So it's about me being intentional with the fact that I don't want to work all the time, and I've got to find smart ways to leverage my time, but also my impact. I've got a really big mission, particularly for this year, to serve 1,000 women, to help them to reach that financial empowerment stage of their life. It's like a phase, like a vibe, like a mood, and that isn't going to be me working one-to-one with every person, because I just wouldn't have capacity to do that. So I'm always looking for opportunities to leverage my time and my energy. So the first thing then I want you to do, when you are looking at, before you even dive into any of the other modules, is to really get intentional and sit with yourself and think, right, okay, when I think of this end goal, this bigger picture goal for my business, and why I'm even doing this thing, what is it that I want to be known for? What is it that I want to create? How do I want to serve my clients? And how do they best need me to show up and support them? So the first one I'm going to be quickly running you through is one-to-one coaching. Now, a lot of the time when I speak with women who have perhaps had some element of business before they have started working with me and are now looking to scale or take it up a notch, the biggest mistakes that I see is that women are not charging enough, obviously, for their one-to-one services. They're not appreciating the value of really having somebody to sit by your side and handhold you through a process or a transformation. That is mind-blowing. They absolutely aren't charging enough for it. So obviously, you know, look at the money mindset elements. That's something you need to be working on daily, and really ensuring that you are valuing your own personal time and expertise when you are working with somebody in such an intimate way. that and obviously think about what you've invested in terms of time, money, and energy to hone your craft and even be able to support them in the first place, and then reverse engineer that. Are you actually charging enough for your one-to-one services? What I also find is that they are almost too accessible. There's no boundaries around that. So typically they are working in containers that are too long. So they are supporting clients through a generic either 12-week program, one-to-one, or 6-month program. Perhaps it doesn't need to be that long though. And it's about really getting into that mindset of your clients, i.e., am I dealing with a woman who is in crisis or really looking for rapid change in their lives? In which case, I actually offer some different elements of one-to-one, which is a VIP intensive. It's obviously a lower price point, but it's essentially a day together where I can really dive deep into the mindset issues that have kept them stuck up to this point, and then get to work, like get that business plan created, really ask them and guide them through that process. So by the end of that day, albeit, yes, it is a big investment, but by the end of the day, they're going to have everything they need to move forwards. Now, I could eke that out over a 12-week program, but for a lot of women, either they can't necessarily afford me for that long, or they don't need me for that long. I don't deal with women that aren't intelligent women, that couldn't probably figure out a lot of the stuff that we're talking about. Where they struggle is knowing where to go. Like sometimes, well, actually a lot of the time when I deal with women, when I work with them, there is no end of inspiration. There is no end of possibilities and avenues that they could take in business. It's just the overwhelm of, but what is the right one? And and the mindset stuff that needs to happen along the way for them to embody that next level version. So that could be an option. So as well as traditional programs, set programs where you've got a signature system where you take them from A to B on a journey, maybe you might want to consider firstly if you're charging enough for those programs, or if it's even the right duration, and what some shorter term containers which are great for you, for the women that can't necessarily afford the 12-week program, but perhaps could afford an intensive experience where they're getting quick results, and maybe that would best serve them. So I'd love to invite you to consider that. Also, Voxer support is something that I offer. So 30 days, again, for a woman that doesn't necessarily need to take her whole business back to basics, but wants to make sure that she's not leaving money on the table, and wants to have somebody to handhold them through a process, and walk them side by side through that process to make sure they're not leaving money on the table, that they are, identifying their blind spots. So it could be a launch or a new program or a rebrand or an up level or something. So in which case I offer 30-day Voxer support, and you can't underestimate the value of just having somebody as a soundboard to really guide you through that transitional time. So that might be something else that you want to consider. So to give you an idea, to work with me on a one-to-one basis is like £10,000. That is that long-term growth. That's we're going to take you from one stage of your journey, and we're going to transition you through to the next, and then we're going to move you on to the next even more so. That is a very intimate container. That's my highest ticket program right now. A VIP intensive, because they're online right now, because thanks to COVID, it's only £500. So you can see like the disparity. They also get 30 days support with me. Again, it would be Voxer support, but there's more boundaries around that. So it's just kind of like checking in if you need anything. The 30-day Voxer support, however, is like £1,000, because this is high touch, this is high energy, we are delivering an outcome, all hands to deck, like I've got you, let's go. This isn't just, in case I want to have a chat over the next 30 days. Like this is for a woman who is really motivated to deliver on an outcome and is ready to go. Like she will be checking in with me daily. So that's to give you an idea of how those prices might vary, how the touch points might vary, but equally it's still one-to-one. So if you are a person that likes the high touch, but is kind of maxed out in terms of capacity in their diary as to how many more one-to-one clients they could take on, maybe you might want to mix in some of these other elements that are shorter commitment of time, but still, give you that intimacy that feels good to you. So that's what I do. The next option is one-to-many, which is usually through like group programs. So it's where you're taking, your 1 hour of your time potentially, and rather than serving one person, you're serving many women or people at the same time. So this could be a group coaching program. It could be a mastermind, it could be a membership, it could be an academy, and there's lots of different ways and levels and experiences that you can deliver in that setting. For me, What feels really good is my mastermind. So for me, group coaching programs don't necessarily feel aligned to me right now, other than my Millionaire Mindset Bootcamp, because most women are on the same journey as it relates to their money mindset. So it's very easy for me to get somebody from stage one to through to two, three to three, to a final destination. And the shifts and transformations will be slightly different for each of them, and it'll be personal to them, but they still have to go through the same journey to get there. They have to look at their beliefs, they have to start to recondition their mindset. They've got it, like there's elements that journey is going to be the same for everybody. So it's quite easy for me to deliver that as a group program. Business programs, I have always found a challenge because women are stuck at different levels and different elements of the group coaching program. Some women absolutely fly through the tech element, or they've already got their brand messaging on point, or they already know who their ideal client is. If you've got women, all different women at different points in their journey that aren't necessarily at that same level, to try and move them through a group coaching program at the same time is very difficult. And for me, it didn't feel in an integrity because I was not getting women through the process at the same time, at the same pace. So then it was almost becoming an adverse experience, because then some people were like, oh, I feel really bad, I'm behind, I'm not catching up, I don't get it as quickly as other people. And I was like, well, this is totally counterintuitive to what I want to do. So that's why I have personally moved away from group coaching programs, because I would rather deal with the individual and meet them with where they're at and be able to tailor my support. But for some people, group coaching programs work really, really well. So I don't want to discourage you from using them if that makes sense for you, your personality types, and you're a person that believes in seasons and likes to work with, I'm going to run this group coaching program every quarter. I'm going to put a lot of energy into launching it, getting the right people into my world. I'm going to run it through as a program, and then I'm going to essentially let that breathe. And we can talk about evergreen and live launching. There's a whole module on that. So don't worry about that. But if that works with your personality and your energy types, and you're like, no, I need to know that there is an end date to this program, I need to have all of those wins, those celebrations, that feels good, then more power to you. What feels good to me is a mastermind, because I love to give my clients an element of community. I am so bought in to the collective and how when women support women, incredible things happen. I am a person that bounces off other people's energy as well. So I always need to be in community with my business. It actually activates elements of your brain and unlocks creative parts that aren't accessible to you when you're working alone. Although obviously, we've all got access to divine source and inspiration and everything as well. But I truly believe that there's another level that you can activate when you are in community and when you're bouncing ideas off everybody else. I think it's great for you to be able to see what is available to you when and be inspired by your peers, and really open yourself up to what is possible in terms of next level success. So that feels really good to me. So but with the mastermind model, there is no set curriculum. There's no so this week we're going to be doing this week we're going to be doing that. It's all about bringing a great high vibe collective together that all have a similar goal and outcome, and your role as the mastermind host is just to kind of facilitate that, ensure that there is accountability, that there's community, that there is an element of growth and up leveling, because otherwise why would you join? And maybe there is an element of some tangible outcome from it, but it's really about, your role is really about protecting the community and the energy, and ensuring that you're bringing people at similar levels so that there is a purpose to be at this table. I've been part of mastermind experiences where I was the most senior, established, seasoned entrepreneur at that table, and it was really uninspiring. There was no it just didn't, the energy was meant that I was kind of pouring into everybody else around me, and nothing was coming back my way. So it was really pointless, and it was a lot of money, and I was kind of disappointed in the host, because I was like, it's your job to bring women at similar levels together so that we can all inspire and bounce off each other, not so that one person can essentially co-host and pour into everybody else, because there was nothing there for me. And it's one of the reasons why it's always great if you're at a table where you are the most established, most accomplished, most seasoned person at the table, you're at the wrong table. So I always invest before I'm ready into my next level mentorship, because I want to be that person who's lifted up, and not to feel like it's becomes a detractor to my energy. So obviously I've got my mastermind, the 7-figure sisterhood. If you are looking for that next home, even if you don't feel like you're ready, come and join anyway, because the conversation is so much different, and it will collapse time and your growth and what it takes for you to get to your next level of success. So those are kind of the options as it relates to one to many. There's probably even more that you could consider. I've had a group boxer as well. I've been in an accountability challenge. So I ran one this year where the women essentially, there wasn't even any training. It was literally just, we're going to get together every Monday. We are going to set out between us. And obviously, I would help facilitate some of that, what my key actions are for this week. And you are going to keep me accountable to it. So I did a 9-day accountability sprint. I can't remember what the price point was that. It was a few £100s, I think. But even just having that accountability, that was amazing. The community was amazing. I've been part of group boxer accountability type challenges where it's like, same sort of thing, where it's like, we're going to deliver a quick result, we are all staying on track, we are all supporting each other, let's go. So those might be some of the things that you want to consider. And obviously once you have determined what feels really good, you might have one signature offer, i.e. and then you would sort of, you know, maybe add in other elements to your product suite, because it's always makes sense that you meet people at different price points so that you're never leaving money on the table. If somebody can't afford your high ticket, you've already got a downsell option to sell them. And obviously there's more details about that in mapping out your product suite, that module. The next one is obviously self courses. So as I said, my Millionaire Mindset Bootcamp, when it is not live, you can purchase it at any time in the year. There's so much value in there. So there's obviously the original core modules, but then I add to it because it is my evergreen program, which means that people can buy it and invest in it at any time, and people receive lifetime access. So if somebody then joins, they can join the next live round automatically, because it is the gift that keeps on giving. That feels really good to me. It feels really in integrity with me, because ultimately this supports my higher purpose. But it could be that you have some sort of foundational self course, like the business bootcamp that I have now that you're watching. That is like my lowest ticket business building self-study that I have. And then for the women that kind of have some elements of clarity on their offers, or really just realize, actually, do you know what, I need more support to execute this, they can then ascend back up my product suite to my mastermind, or to one-to-one, or a VIP, or boxer support while they execute. But if actually, you know, it's a startup and this is all they can afford, I'm giving them everything that they need to set up a business in integrity with them, in alignment with them, in their zone of genius, that is sustainable and scalable. That feels really good to me. But am I going to turn up for live calls every week? It wouldn't be a good use of my energy, and it would mean that I would have to increase the price of this course. That doesn't feel good to me, because I want to be accessible. So self-led courses are perfect. So the last, and that could be focusing on an element of the journey, you know. So as I expand this year, my intention is to grow more courses where it's like live launching or something. I've done masterclasses that I could expand on and add more resources. They could become a self-study around launching and all the different ways that you could launch. So evergreen and live launching and challenges and affiliates and email launches and all the things. I'll do a self-study course on that. I've already run some elements as a masterclass. There's probably stuff that I can repurpose. We don't want to put, you know, when you price your course, you have to make sure that it is commensurate to the energy and the transfer that you put into it, but also the transformation that the client can receive. And I truly believe that you can have a foundational knowledge, but when it comes to next level growth and expansion, you need to be supported in that process. So that's why obviously then you can move closer and closer in terms of proximity to me as you ascend through my product suite. And then the final thing is hybrid. So this is where you can take elements of each, and it's all about really bearing in mind what is going to be best for my client, what is actually going to get them a result that is lasting, that is transformational, that feels really good to me. So because I've had clients that are like, yeah, self courses, because I don't want to do any of the work. I don't want to show up for courses, live calls, and that's what feels better to me. But when we've actually unpacked it, it's like, but is that what's best for your client? Are they actually going to get any results from being taught in that way? Or do they need that accountability and that community and that ability to answer questions? And are they going to get stuck? Is this the best way? In which case, if that isn't, and you do perhaps have to add elements of your business that you don't necessarily want to do as much, then maybe there's an opportunity to review the prices. Because if it's like, well, okay, yes, no, to get that next level, they need one-to-one, but I don't want to be overworked and working with loads of one-to-one clients. Well, then master your craft, become an expert, and increase your prices so you don't have to work with hundreds of one-to-one clients. I only work with a handful at a time and my prices reflect that, and they'll probably increase further as I continue to evolve and develop and, add more strings to my bow and more things that I can help my clients with. I always have growth plans each year as to, right, okay, how can I, as a businesswoman, as an entrepreneur, as a woman, all the things, how can I evolve to my next level, which means that every time I ascend, my prices need to ascend. But I price my one-to-one services accordingly because I don't want to hold space for somebody out of integrity and actually be holding space for hundreds of other clients and actually not be able to deliver a service and not be able to give them that intimate experience that they need. So you've got to be in integrity with what it is that you're selling. And equally, what I would say as well is the biggest bugbear for me is when clients expect people to invest into programs at prices that they have never invested in themselves. That's something that I feel really at my core, you have to be in integrity. I have invested 20, 30,000 pounds into one-to-one prices. So charging 10 for my services, I'm very comfortable with doing that because I know the power of high level mentorship and investment. Same with my mastermind. My mastermind is priced like 7,500, and I have benched that much against what I have experienced from being inside my own mastermind containers, and also the value that I bring to the table, that the community brings to the table, that the resources bring to the table, and the experience of the mastermind, against what I have also invested in previously. So everything has to be in integrity and it has to be in alignment, because ultimately it's your energy that needs to get behind these offers and this product suite to sell it. If there's part of you that's like, yeah, I'm expecting my clients and telling them every day they need to invest in themselves, but I've never done it, then there's going to be an element of your mindset that is like calling bullshit every time you try and sell it, because it knows that you haven't done the thing first. And you can hate me for that, but I truly believe that that is sometimes why programs don't sell. And it's because the person is not in integrity with what they're selling. So just going back to the last thing, which is hybrid. And I believe that so for me as a business coach, this is what feels best, because it's about tailoring to the individual, not just trying to do a one size fits all. So my mastermind, for example, has an element of all of the different options. So typically when people join my mastermind, they'll have a one-to-one VIP session with me. That's the one-to-one element. They also then have the community and the group sessions. They also have experts that come in, so I'm leveraging my time even further by not being the center of all things. They can also rely on each other, so that gives me an opportunity to leverage my time and energy also, so that I can be working on my business and working on the mastermind and adding more value rather than in it every day and busy. I've also brought in guest coaches that have helped me to leverage that time further and again enhance that experience for my client. But there's also support materials with self-led toolkits and courses that my clients can go back to refer to as well in the mastermind. So they've also got supplementary resources and programs that they can work through as well, to make sure that they are all at the same level and they are all supporting each other, and that they are moving through things quicker rather than waiting for the next call, waiting for me. They can also be self-motivated to find their own solutions. So that also feels really good to me, is that, and it's catering for all the different learning styles, because some people, they can hear something once and it clicks. Other people need to be able to go back to something. It gives them longevity and growth because they've got these resources that they can refer back to as well. Maybe it wasn't relevant the first time they watched it, it hits different the next time, or maybe they are looking at different ways to scale their business. For me, the mastermind is 12 months. It's a 12-month container. Through that 12 months, like, you can massively go through so many evolutions of your business if you're committed to that growth. So again, there might be modules that weren't even relevant in the first quarter, but by the third, it's like gold dust, So that feels really good to me, is having all of those different elements. For me, as a coach, I don't want to be the center of all things. This isn't about ego for me and being somebody's like, I can't do anything before I speak to Rebecca. I'm happy to be somebody's sounding board, but my role as a coach is to empower them enough that the only person they ever really need is themselves, you know, and I can guide them, I can walk alongside them, I can pull things out of them, but I don't need to be the center of all things. This isn't the Rebecca show, it's their show. So I need to ensure that they're supported and able to be resourceful and find their own solutions, essentially. So that is this module. What I would love for you to now do is obviously reflect on all of the things that I've mentioned, and then go back to the roadmaps module, where once you've determined what your signature or your core offer is going to be, go back to the module section and download the roadmap for that program or offer, so that you have a clear plan of action as to the daily, weekly, monthly, and all of the steps that you need to take in order to implement and launch that offer. So thank you so much for being here, and I will see you on the next module.
Thank you for listening to this episode. It's been amazing to share this time with you, and I feel honoured to be part of your journey. If you've loved what you've heard, had an aha moment, or found value in this episode, then please do like, comment and share. I would love to connect with you on Instagram and Facebook, so come and find me, and I look forward to helping you build your epic life.